It's time for another coffee break with TSC Printronix Auto ID. Today we're talking with Joe Gordon, who's the Vice President of Product Innovation at SOTI Research, and Mark Homolka, who's our Mobile Account Executive for TSC Printronix Auto ID. Joe, welcome, and can you give us your background, please?
Sure. Well, as you said, my title is Vice President of Product Innovation. I work at SOTI's research lab in Waterloo, Ontario. My background is, I started off in software development back in the United States, which is where I'm from, and worked there for a number of years. Then decided it was time to try something new and came to Canada and worked with BlackBerry for a while. For those of you who remember BlackBerry, this is where their headquarters was. And then a few years ago, I decided to really try something new and join the research team. And I've really enjoyed it here because we get to focus on kind of exploring new capabilities in device management and IoT. And the best thing is that means we get to play with a lot of new toys on the regular basis. We're also the team that created Connect as a concept. And then we took that concept and actually took it into market. So we've been working with this product now for about 3 years.
That's great. And we've been working with Connect for just about a year now, and we introduced it middle of last year. And we're excited about the future with our products working with Connect. Hi, Mark. Can you give us your background, please?
Yeah, my name is Mark Homolka. I'm the mobile account executive for TSC Printronix Auto ID. And basically, what I do is I work with our channel partners and with our end user accounts on developing our mobile print product in terms of identifying new and emerging use cases, as well as traditional use cases that are out in the market today.
Great. Can you tell us a little about the Alpha printers and the advanced connectivity features that they have that work with SOTI?
Absolutely. Yeah. The mobile printers it's our second generation of mobile printer technology. What we've been striving to bring to the market is a purpose-built device that is designed specifically for mission critical applications. And it's really driven primarily on the Android and also iOS platforms, where mobile devices are being used and needed. So when you have those instances, being able to manage those devices and see where they're at and understand how they're being used, that's what's the most important as it relates to mobile technology and where you need mobile print features.
Thanks. Joe, what are some of the remote capabilities that SOTI Connect brings to printers like our new Alpha series?
First of all, you mentioned earlier about the relationship we've had with TSC Printronix for the last year or so. And one of the nice things about it is because we have been working with TSC Printronix, when the new Alpha came out, we were able to very quickly incorporate that into SOTI Connect so that we were able to actually launch with the Alpha series of printers, which is really nice. The features we bring to it are very similar to what we support with some of the other devices. Things like remote diagnostics, gathering data from the devices to support analytics. We have automation features in Connect, which really allow us to not just be able to understand when there's an issue, but have the printer itself tell us when there's an issue and even respond to that automatically and sometimes resolve the issue without even a human interaction. Or at the most, we can notify people through various means like SMS or email that there is an urgent issue that needs to be dealt with. So we really bring all those capabilities to the Alpha printers and are able to help people who have these devices in remote locations be able to manage those devices without having to send someone out there to look at them.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I can share with you. I was recently on an actual live sales call, probably for the first time in 10 months since the pandemic hit, with a potential partner that has a couple hundred locations throughout the world. And SOTI Connect becomes extremely important for them. And your team was in on that call. And, even though I've been working with you and working on the marketing side and a little bit of the sales side, to be on a call and to see all the data that we can pass through from our product through SOTI to our end user was really amazing. And all I could think of is, knowledge is power when it comes to being aware of the status of your printers and if service is coming up or if there's an issue with the printer, really identifying it really before you would traditionally walking around a facility know if you've got a bad dot in a print head, for instance, or in the case of smart batteries, what the status is of the charge. So I was really impressed by that. Talking about smart batteries, Mark, can you tell us what a smart battery is?
A smart battery is just like the name implies. We're able to gather a lot of information about the battery health and understand what the history of the charge cycles are. It's just some of the things that that we have enabled and data that's enabled, so that over the entire shift you're reporting back on the health and activity of that battery, and that's important because we're talking about mission critical printing that's being done and mission critical applications that are driven by processes where people need a device that's functioning and used and being used all the time.
Turning to Joe on that, what kind of data do we see with regards to batteries, for instance, on a mobile printer? What kind of data can you deliver to us?
Well, everything you can send to us, basically. To the comment you made just a few minutes ago, there is a lot of data that comes out of these batteries. Not just different types of data, but over time data to look at trends and things of that nature. So through SOTI Connect and the TSC Smart Battery Technology, we can really collect all that data into one place for all your devices across the spread across the network. Collect that in one place, look at the usage, look at state information on the battery, understand trends that are developing with those batteries, and really use that information to drive analysis. And as Mark mentioned, these are mission critical devices. People can't afford to have them go down, and if they do go down, they need to know this quickly. And batteries are obviously a very critical component to a mobile device. They can also impact other aspects of that device. So if the voltage is wrong, it can actually have other impacts as well. So we can help identify these things and take corrective actions or send alerts. But the key thing is it's a mobile device, it's connected, and we're getting that information in real time. So when that mission critical device does have an issue, we can address it very quickly and keep that mission critical person using the device.
Great. Thank you. So, Mark, we're talking about mobile devices. What are some of the mobile options that we have with the new Alpha printers?
Right. Because you're talking about a mobile printer, there are certain accessories that have kind of, that have become kind of the standard in the industry that people need to have, whether it be battery chargers, docking stations, cases, shoulder straps, things that allow the end user, the person that's using the device, for it to be more functional for what they're doing with their daily tasks. We see a number of forklift and mounting applications in delivery trucks as well, because those are common use cases for mobile printing. We leverage a pretty flexible platform of being able to mount into a vehicle through some partners and common players in that space like Ram Mounts that has the ability to provide us with the connectivity that you need to mount the device into a vehicle or forklift. There's also ways for us to leverage the DC power off of a forklift truck or a vehicle, so that we can eliminate the need for batteries and have a continuously running device all the time. And that becomes pretty powerful and pretty important as a way in an expectation that end users have for mobile printing, especially inside the four walls of a DC or any type of supply chain environment.
Thanks. Switching gears a little bit, Joe, I mean, we talked about logistics applications, but what types of customers can benefit from using SOTI Connect?
Well, when you think about mobile printers, all kinds of customers can benefit from it. You've already mentioned the logistics. That's one of the places where we see the most interest. It's actually one of our key verticals, typically around delivery. But what you also see a lot of times is in the warehouse location for logistics and also in retail locations that, the location itself may be fixed, but the person and the staff are mobile. So they're walking around, they're dealing with issues in the store or in the warehouse, and they have a mobile printer to be able to print instant receipts or labels and things of that nature. So we really see a lot of that kind of interest as well from a mobile printer standpoint. when you think about Connect, we obviously work with some of the other printers in the TSC Printronix line, and some of those get us into other areas. Healthcare is one that we've really seen a lot of interest, funny enough, for printing, where they're printing like prescription labels and things of that nature. So we've seen a lot of interest there as well. But the main thing about Connect and what it brings to both of our customers is the fact that historically a lot of these printers were not managed. They were, kind of standalone devices, and being able to get information from them, being able to do this kind of diagnostics, always required a person to go look at it. And with Connect, that's not necessary. And with Connect and mobile printers, it makes it even easier because these printers tend to be scattered. And so now, instead of having the printers, be put into the snail mail to be sent around, we can do it directly.
Interesting. I'm just kind of curious on a SOTI Connect install. Do they tend to be centralized? In other words, is the console installed in one city and it's covering multiple locations, or are they more each remote location has its own console? How does that work?
It depends on the customer. Right now, what we look at and we see most of the time is either an on-premise, so at a corporate headquarters or IT center, or in the cloud. We'll have a single installation of Connect, and it will manage devices across the world. Right now, I have a TSC instance sitting in a cloud, and I'm managing printers in Taiwan and in Long Beach at your facility there, and Europe. So it's the system itself can reach across the world. There are some instances where, because of network considerations and things like that, they may want to have multiple versions, but the what we're seeing more often than not is a single connect managing all these locations. And honestly, some of these locations are not even corporate owned locations. They are retail centers that the corporation doesn't own, and so it's they're having to connect in through like wireless networks and things of that nature.
Interesting. Thank you. Turning to Mark, are there unique ways the customers are using our mobile printers?
The it's interesting you bring that up because what we're seeing a lot, and I think this is kind of trends that everybody is seeing, is that companies are pivoting and trying to figure out how do they get the product to their customers differently. So it is creating new use cases for our mobile printer technologies. It really comes down to things that retailers are doing, last mile delivery. Retail is a perfect example where they're, doing things like curbside pickup, delivery of not only, customer orders, but also of prescriptions has become, in vogue. And because of that, it's creating these applications for us, as it relates to, being able to get product to customers faster. But other things that you're seeing is it's obviously creating more demand in new and unique ways. So there could be more challenges with product coming back into a warehouse in DC. And when you bring in, those products back in, it requires documentation, and that can be, through a barcode printer for returns processing. And then there's these new markets that are kind of emerging. Agriculture being a big marketplace that we're seeing, for tracking what's going on with, let's say, seed production or various crops, that are out in fields, as well as the cannabis industry and a lot of the regulation tied into that space. And then lastly, it's still one of our core markets, but there is a lot of mobile devices in healthcare as well. And again, it goes back to that track and trace, being able to track everything that's going at the bedside for patient care. So there definitely are, new emerging markets for mobile printing, and it's something that we're excited to unearth with customers as they find business needs.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up healthcare. I know in the U.S., if a hospital makes a mistake with a patient and causes damage to the patient, those create $1 million lawsuits. And I know when we're selling patient ID tracking systems under whether it be the TSC or Printronix brands, they pay for themselves quickly by eliminating human error and by using barcodes. I kind of pivot to Joe. You had also mentioned healthcare was a growing industry for SOTI. Are there any particular or unique demands that healthcare and hospitals in particular are looking for from SOTI Connect or other SOTI products?
Yeah, we have had some interest around. We think about the vaccines that are being sent out, very relevant. From a printer perspective, it's tracking where they're going, being able to have those mobile printers. But even more importantly, temperature is very critical. And so we've had a lot of interest in what we call cold chain integrity, which is a new area for us, and making sure that when that COVID vaccine goes from the point A to point B, that the temperature never goes above, I forget, -40 or something like that. It's a very low temperature. So that's one of the things that we've seen. Like I said, we do still have that request for printing those prescriptions and printing, tracking, the delivery of these the vaccines to these locations, to be able to print off receipts and really know where it has been at any point in time, and the temperature and the kind of the state of that product. In today's world, that's very critical, not just for the COVID vaccines, but for others as well.
Yeah, that's interesting and up to date. And I think from a printer perspective, just to kind of toot our own horn, our research into hospitals and the hospitals that we're in, of all the various types of printers that they have, I mean, it's almost not quite, but the ratio of printers to beds approaches 1 to 1. So, I mean, if you've got a 400 bed hospital, they've got 400, close to 400 printers installed. So, interesting application and something for us to look at in the future. I think I'll close by just kind of a personal, near and dear question from me to Mark, and that's why do you consider our Alpha 30 and Alpha 40 printers to be the best mobile printers that we've brought to market?
That's a great question, because obviously with this new generation of mobile printers, it's the best printer that we've brought to the market, in terms of going after this space. We see a lot of adoption, for mobility, for tracking and tracing, and we learned a lot about the first generation of them, and put some incredible technology into the device itself. We designed the device with rugged features, that are, you know, really industry leading in terms of drop specs. It's got a 1.8 meter drop spec on the device. It's IP54 compliant, which basically means it's got the rugged characteristics to handle, um, different cold temperatures, even some, rain applications or wet environments to some degree. It's got a shift long battery, which is critical for that type of an application. And we turned around and put accessories into the device, like multi-bay docks, shoulder straps, vehicle mounted terminals, and really thought through the technology to make sure that the device could handle the rigor of what it's going to face, as being a field-based device.
Thank you, Mark. And I would add, this was the first printer that we brought to market while we had our association with SOTI already set up. And we spent a lot of time thinking about and designing into the printer all the different features that can be tracked through enterprise mobility management that SOTI Connect gives us. Um, and on that note, I'd like to thank Joe and ask if you have any final thoughts.
Extra thought I'd have, or final thought I'd have is, we've really enjoyed working with the TSC Printronix team, and we have other projects coming down the pike as well, that ways to improve what we're doing already and add more of that data that you're referring to, and really add more ways to enable that remote management and remote diagnostics, because we've really seen how key this is with a lot of our customers through the TSC Printronix partner base. Just how important getting that information from that device to your IT team in a timely manner and a useful manner, and how critical that is. And I look forward to continuing the relationship and continue to grow our mutual solution.
We do too. Thank you very much. Thank you both. I think it was very informative. So thank you, and everyone have a good day.